You're listening to DraftKings Network.
God bless football, Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Stugotz.
I walked in this morning. I heard Billy say, watch out for the Broncos. Yeah. I got very excited. I did. Mikey A wanted Timmy Boyle. You got him.
Got him. And you know what?
What?
Stu, he was better than Zach Wilson.
You have to whisper that, huh? Is that what you have to do?
He was better than Zach Wilson.
Okay. He made me yearn for Zach Wilson.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, nothing should ever make you yearn for Zach Wilson.
Unless
it's a prostate exam.
Okay. Boyle was bad. What happened, Billy?
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay. Boyle was bad. Why are we watching out for the Broncos, Billy?
Boyle had a good.
Boyle was bad, Billy.
Fourth quarter, he had a good little run there.
No, he did not.
Don't look at the two first downs through like the first three quarters. Don't pay attention to that.
Just pay attention to that final quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we gonna? It's been now what, like 4 days since that game, so probably not how we should start that. But oh my god,
what?
The Hail Mary. Oh, my God. Did you see people calling it the Hail Mary?
Yeah.
So great.
Yep, it's great.
Yeah.
Mark Sanchez should be thankful. He's the big winner this weekend. I mean, that's no longer the butt fumble, no longer the most embarrassing play in Jets history. It's up there. It's number two.
It's classic.
It's number two.
Classic.
Yeah. It's number two. Why are we watching out for the Broncos?
I'm just saying, the Broncos, right now they're sitting where? They're sitting at 9, 7 teams get in. Looking at the schedule, I've seen harder schedules.
You have, huh?
I've seen harder schedules.
Right.
Also, Sean Payton, OLI, Coach of the Year right now.
Oh, funny.
Dark horse.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have my top 5 Coach of the Year candidates. As of today. Yes, I do.
Well, here's the thing.
We'll get to
that. Okay, so let's not get to it now.
Can't wait to see what Brandon Staley's on it.
We're not getting to it right now.
Because the obvious pick that everyone will do is like Dan Campbell or Mike McDaniel, right? Probably, right? But then you got to look a little bit deeper.
You have to look deeper.
A little deeper.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the playoff standings, you see the Broncos with a good chance of making the playoffs because I'm with you, and I do agree with you that Sean Payton will probably get serious consideration for NFL Coach of the Year.
You know what? Now kind of looking at the schedule, this weekend is a very big weekend for the AFC, the bottom half of the AFC playoffs, because Broncos are playing the Texans, who sit directly ahead of them, and then they're one spot out of the Colts. And let's be real, the Colts are not making the playoffs, okay?
Right.
And even if they do, they're not going to make it very far.
Okay. If the season ended today, the Colts would be in the playoffs.
If the season ended today, the Colts would be playing the Chiefs in the playoffs, so they wouldn't last very long. Even though something going on in Kansas City.
There is something going on in Kansas City. Well, a little something off,
They can't catch the ball. That's what's going on.
Right. Well,
that's something.
They won.
They did have a big bounce back game.
The Raiders,
I suppose.
True.
The Raiders are so weird.
They are.
Are they good? Are they not good? Can they just be bad?
The age-old question.
Is Antonio Pierce like ruining the Raiders by being okay as a coach for them? Because Jimmy G's not the answer. They're going to have to do something to fix that team. And by the way, finishing 500 is not what they have to do to fix that team.
Well, no, the worst thing in the NFL is to finish, I guess you can't finish 8-8 anymore, but 8-9, 9-8, something like that. And that's where the Raiders are headed.
Yeah.
Purgatory.
Yeah, it's middle. Yeah, right. You get a mid-first round pick. You don't get a top 5 pick. And so this has been a bad season for the Las Vegas Raiders. Plus, they're going to lose Devontae Adams in the offseason. Well, how about that?
The Raiders' schedule also
easy.
I've seen tougher. So they play the Vikings, which will probably be a loss.
Right.
Then they play the Chargers, which is anyone's guess what's going on with the Chargers right now, because yesterday the Chargers actually had a chance of beating the Ravens late in the game. Like,
they did.
The 20-10 is not what that game looked like. There was that late touchdown. But like Chargers had a chance, and then Herberted, and just the last 2 drives were disastrous, and they could have ended any way but how they ended, which is not great for him. Then they have the Chiefs, which they're going to lose that game. Then the Colts, who knows? And then the Broncos, I don't know.
What was that?
It seems like I'm talking myself into the Raiders, maybe.
What, making the playoffs?
In the hunt.
They are in the hunt, Billy.
They're not. They're 12.
Everyone's in the hunts. I mean,
but everyone's not in the hunt. If the season ended
today, the Falcons would be in the playoffs. That's amazing. Falcons? Desmond Ridder.
There's always one of those divisions, right?
If
it's like nobody deserves to
It's
go.
always that division.
No, that or it was the NFC West for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
If the season ended today, the Falcons would be hosting the Cowboys.
That's amazing. Amazing.
I don't know if the Cowboys are good either.
No idea. I know the Eagles are good.
I don't know how good they are.
What are you talking about? They're 10-1.
Sure about the Broncos, not about the Eagles, huh?
They are undefeated. The Eagles are when they trail by double digits in a game. They come back every single time.
That's
They're 4-0.
not sustainable. That is not sustainable.
I'm just saying, Billy, they don't get nervous. The moment doesn't get too big. Jalen Hurts. We might have to come around to the fact that it's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Joe Burrow. That Jalen Hurts is indeed the best quarterback in the NFL.
Give Patrick Mahomes A.J. Brown. Let me see what happens.
Why are you making that face?
He has so many weapons.
Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill.
And he won a Super Bowl with him.
And
then he won one without him.
Exactly.
Now he has Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Jalen Hurts was the best player on the field in that Super Bowl last year. He was the best player on the field yesterday against the Bills. He was the best player on the field last week against Kansas City. He's the best player in the NFL.
I don't know about that.
Josh Allen was the best player on the field yesterday. He was just on a worse team.
He was great.
You throw that best in the NFL around a lot. Jared Goff has been the best quarterback for a few weeks. And
guys, Jalen Hurts is not the best.
He's very good.
We might have to come around to the fact that he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's got 29 total touchdowns.
Very good. He also has the tush push, which is a cheat code that they may outlaw after this season. And by the way, I'm not alone on this line of thinking because I heard Chris Sims saying, I believe it was the Cowboys, and I think it was the 49ers that he was saying, like, at their best, think that they're better than the Eagles. So
he did say that.
I'm not the only one saying.
He said the Niners' best is better than the Eagles' best.
Yeah.
He did say that.
And I think that he said that we're seeing the Eagles at their best right now.
I mean, it's pretty good if we're seeing them at their best.
It's pretty good, but is it great? I don't know.
10-1.
10-1, but
a lot of big wins.
Regular
Lost to the
season
Jets.
10-1.
10-1, Billy.
Yeah.
The loss to the Jets is
They're
hilarious.
the first team to get. I know their only loss is to Zach Wilson. I mean, think about that, Zach Wilson.
A funny game, this football.
Well, why are you shrugging your shoulders? It is a funny game. Football. Put it on the poll. This football, funny game. Thank you.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. Whoever puts it on the
Whoever
poll.
puts it on the poll.
I don't think that one's going to make
Whoever
it on
that
the
is.
poll.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't because that's not assigned to anyone. You're just
I'll text
tossing
Juju.
it out there.
I'll text Juju.
All right, text Juju.
Anyway,
29 touchdowns, Billy. He's got 18 throwing touchdowns, has 11 running touchdowns, 29 touchdowns. This is a team that lost in the Super Bowl. It's the first team to ever lose in a Super Bowl and start the next season 10-1. By the way, Jason Kelce did everything he could to lose that game yesterday. Did you see it?
did he really go to the bathroom in between regulation?
I think so, yeah.
And overtime?
And also back-to-back false starts.
Right.
In the
Not
dying
great.
moments of the fourth quarter.
Probably why he was flinching.
And they're yes,
the bathroom.
he had
Could be.
it's a great point.
Could be.
It's- you know what? You know what? I might have to apologize for Jason.
Yeah.
You're right. I get flinchy too when I have to go to the bathroom
A
like
little
that.
bit.
I do.
Yeah.
What?
Back in my day, do it on the field. You know what I mean?
What? Just
Number
right.
2?
Just
Mark Schlereth
just-
would do it on the field.
exactly right.
Stink.
Thank you. Thank you. And it was a messy game. No one would have questioned if it was mud or not. Like, I'm telling you. I mean, people probably would have questioned it, but I mean,
We have no doubt that Mike Golick would do it right on the field, right?
yeah.
Yeah, in his
Junior's
pants.
told us number 1 he did all the time in his pants.
Right. Wait, so this is
2 is a different game, though.
This is
Yeah, the tush push after a number 2 must be
Was
a
it
little
Larry
awkward.
Izzo that told us that he got like a game ball for pooping in a bucket on the
he
sideline?
pooped in a bucket. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When he was a member of the Patriots.
I'm just saying, like, I guess, you know.
These guys are animals.
his
Yeah,
position-
like all the humanity's out the window. Like it's insane.
I feel like Chris Sims was the first generation of players to stop pooping on the field.
he'd
I feel
never,
like he was
he'd
the first to
never,
be like,
he would
"No,
never.
I need a toilet.
He rarely uses a porta potty. If he does, it's one of those trailers that's air conditioned.
Oh, really? You have him in a nice bathroom,
Yeah,
huh?
Chris Sims
Right.
does not use a porta potty.
But you know
middle
his-
of the game up to the owner's box.
You
Yeah.
know his dad Phil is very upset about this because his dad growing up probably taught Chris, hey, when you got to go, just go.
His dad's
You know?
pooped in his hands before, if I were to guess.
And then throw touchdown passes.
I want to make sure I'm clear on what you just said.
I think sometimes at the Sims estate, you'll find Phil just in the back, like in the forest that they own. And he's just like, Phil, we have 8 bathrooms in the house. And then we have like 6 in the
compound.
guest house.
I'll go in my hands.
And he's like, but there's a good tree here. has a Charmin bear hand him some piece of paper.
I just want to make sure what you're saying. Phil Simms, you're claiming poops right in his own hands.
He has.
Okay, Juju, put that on the poll regularly. And thank you in advance. Has Phil Simms pooped in his hands?
Ever.
Okay.
Yeah. At one point he has.
That has to be a poll question.
Yeah, you're telling me at no point has anyone been going down a stream and seen Phil Simms just kind of like, what are you doing over there, Phil? And he's like,
They're walking their dog in the woods.
Nature.
Right down a stream, and there's Phil.
Yeah, like, how'd you get here? We're in the middle of Utah. What are you doing here? He's like,
I had to go.
Yeah.
You're in rare form this morning, my friend.
That's the Broncos do this
afternoon.
This early afternoon. I'm sorry, I keep getting it mixed up. I mean,
you know what I did today? I took a cold shower.
Really?
Yeah, I've been reading a lot on
earlier
the internet.
Today. You did that.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot, and I haven't had coffee.
Don't let Tony hear you say that.
No, I know.
He'll claim he changed her whole life.
I know, but I don't believe that he's ever taken a cold shower. I believe that he takes warm showers.
So you think he's a shower fraud, huh?
Late in the day for a shower and coffee. No coffee yet.
No, I didn't do it late in the day. I did it first thing in the morning, but I'm saying that the effects have carried on throughout the day, that I still have the energy.
You look great.
Thank you.
You do. Your hair looks good. You look good, man.
It's the makeup.
The makeup helps. It really does. I was a disaster when I walked in at 4:30 this afternoon. I mean,
I had a conversation with a friend this weekend.
Yes.
We were at brunch, which I'm not a fan of brunch, and there was robot servers, which I was really not a fan of. And the air conditioning wasn't working, and I'm kind of like, why don't we save the money on the robots and fix the air conditioning, because it is despicably hot in here.
Right.
So anyways, I'm there with some friends of mine, and one of my friends was saying how like his brother put makeup on him for like some family thing, and he's like, I looked a lot younger, and they're like, would you ever do it? And I'm like, I wear makeup every day.
How was the robo Steph?
It was weird. It was like this robot that like had 2 levels on it that like just took the plates out, I guess, for like the server or the hostess or the waiter or whatever, and then they would just take the plates off. But I was confused because it's like, I see the robots here with the plates, so I just grabbed my own plate, and then I forgot what I ordered. It was a whole thing.
It was, huh?
It was. I don't like the robots coming in there. Sometimes I go around BJ's Wholesale Club. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
And there's just this really tall robot that's like a big column. It looks like one of those like air like AC things. It's like a column, and it just drives around. I have no idea what the hell that thing does, but it follows me around sometimes. Get the hell away from me. You know what I mean?
You know,
these robots, you got to be very careful.
You do. You know where Lucy was over the weekend?
Where was Lucy?
At the game.
Just the game?
The game.
The game.
She joins us next.
And we're back.
Why do you keep doing that?
I don't know. I like to do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Growing up, I always wanted to be like a TV person, and then somehow I just ended up in radio, and now we're kind of on TV again. I mean, we're on TV again.
Yes.
And like, I don't know. I've always fancied myself more of a television personality than a radio personality. Even though my personality is probably more suited for radio than television.
Yes.
I just like the lights. You know what I mean?
Right. But and we're back. I mean, that's how you bring us back in.
Welcoming people back.
I know, but then you leave it to me. It's like,
no, I'm not. I'm ready to continue. I say the and we're back, and then I'm going to react. So then I look at you. Lucy's here. Hey, Lucy.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Lucy.
Vibes are weird this morning. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, Billy is fired up this
afternoon, Lucy.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I woke up late.
That's it was a long weekend for you. It's okay.
Long weekend.
How do you feel about cold showers, Lucy?
I'm not going to take a cold shower.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I thought. And I took one today instead of my coffee, and I'm revved up.
He is revved up.
Lucy, this was probably a better college weekend than an NFL weekend.
It was a great college weekend. And next weekend's going to be even better. So
I'm worried that we're going to be too excited about next weekend, and it's not going to live up to it, but there's so much room for chaos next weekend.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We were close to chaos this week. We had some chaos this weekend, but look how excited. No one loves college football more than Lucy. Look how giddy and excited she is. Just at the mere fact that we're talking about it.
I was going to ask, Lucy, do you love that people talk about college football that don't know as much about college football as you, or does it bother you that you're like, you're an idiot, try to not ruin the thing that I love so much?
I think it's a little bit of both. For the most part, I like when people are into the sport because I think it's more fun. I think people care more. But then sometimes you'll just hear stuff that you're like, you have no idea what you're talking about, and I really think you need to shut up right now.
Yeah.
You act like you've been here.
I have a talking point for that where you're going to say you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up right now. Michael Penix was trying to blow that game this weekend.
Yeah. Washington, I think the line for that game is like Oregon 7.5, or last time I checked it was. I don't feel any level of confidence in Michael Penix Jr. I don't feel any level of confidence in that Washington team. I think Oregon beats them really, really big this weekend, and I think that's awesome. I think that's so good for the game.
I think Oregon is a lower seed, but I think they're like 6.5 point favorites. Right. The last time I saw it, I didn't understand what they were doing at the end of the game. They have the ball on their own or on Washington State's 48 with 55 seconds.
Right.
They go pass, 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 then like run, then like another incomplete pass. There was almost 2 interceptions on that final drive alone. I don't know why they were within field goal range because there was a roughing the passer penalty. So they're at the 27-yard line with like 42 seconds left. All they have to do is run it twice, take a timeout, and kick a field goal. And they were doing everything possible to blow that game, it seemed.
I think you saw it in Michael Penix after the game where he went and he like hit his head in something. His teammates were comforting. He was crying. He was walking off with like the coat over his head. Like it was just weird play calling by Ryan Grubb, who I wanted to be the Iowa offensive coordinator. Now I feel like he's qualified. Now I know that he can live up to our standards. It was very weird, but Washington has been weird the last few weeks where Michael Penix Jr. hasn't really been what we've expected or what we saw in the beginning of the season. He's been inaccurate. He hasn't been able to move the ball as well. Like this entire Washington team, I feel like they just hit their stride so early, and you're seeing it all start to fall apart now. And that game was especially tough because college football fans, everyone wanted Wazoo to win so bad. We wanted the little guy who's, getting kicked out of the conference or stuck in the conference to get that dub. And that was tough. I think if that game were in, I totally forgot the name of the town that Washington State is in, but if it were at home, Washington State would have won.
Wait, so Oregon is a 6.5 point favorite, which is funny considering that Washington already beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington beat them 39-36, Lucy.
No, but think about it, that was 6 weeks ago. That was long ago. In Oregon, weird enough, I'd like to talk a little bit about Bo Nix's Heisman campaign. Weird enough, only ranked win is against Oregon State, so you don't know how much you can trust Oregon, but they're playing so good right now. This Washington team does not seem set. Neutral site game in Vegas, like Oregon minus 6.5 feels like easy money to me.
That's going to be a fun game. But those games, like the Washington State game, and you know this, it's rivalry week, and those games are weird. Look at Auburn, Alabama. Auburn lost to New Mexico State, I think.
Oh, my God. That final.
By a lot.
Yeah.
So funny. The funniest thing I saw was if you saw the Auburn fans who had filmed their reaction at the end because they were prepared to win and rush the field, and you see the face drop with the touchdown.
Yep.
I think one of the weirdest parts was Jalen Milroe after the game running out and being like, "Give me the Heisman." And it was like, brother, you almost lost to Auburn. This team lost to New Mexico State last week. This is not your Heisman moment.
Right. But it was, though.
I mean, if he had a Heisman moment this season, that moment, not game, not a Heisman game. Moment, though? A good moment. Now she thinks we're idiots. She thinks we're idiots at Total College football.
Lucy, of all the quarterbacks that are up for the Heisman, if there was a Heisman moment this year from any quarterback, that was the moment from Milroe right there. No?
I think you could go Jaden Daniels' entire game against Alabama is the Heisman.
Not entire games. No, we're doing moments.
Just a moment.
Just the play.
Everything's on the
you can
line.
Have it. That's his Heisman moment, but every moment up to that was very disappointing.
Is he a Heisman
no
favorite
longer than 10 seconds.
Is he a Heisman favorite for next year because of that moment?
Perhaps.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was listening driving in. I was listening to ESPN radio driving in. They're like, put money on him right now. Right now. Let's get him right now for a Heisman favorite for next year.
He's been really good. I mean, Lucy, he has been.
Aside from the benching.
He's been really good. Like, if you stack his numbers at this point in their careers, his versus Hurts or Tua, they match up. I mean, they do. I'm not saying he's as good as those guys. I'm just saying the numbers match up.
He's just a freshman, and I talked about it earlier in the year when everyone was like, wow, Alabama has problems, myself included. I never thought the issue was Milroe. The issue was always the offensive line. The offensive line has improved. He has improved. This is a very good Alabama team. They could easily beat Georgia this week.
Saban is lurking.
We didn't talk about the game, and Lucy was at the game.
How was the game, Lucy? I do want to tell you this before we give us your thoughts on the game first, then I'll ask you the question. Because Billy made a great point last week that I'd like to follow up on.
I did.
After you give us your thoughts on the game here.
the game was awesome. Just like the physical, actual game that was being played was everything you could have asked for.
Right.
I thought Michigan was going to win a lot bigger, but honestly, when I was at the Big House, I could sense it in the vibes. The vibes were not exactly right. Michigan fans weren't as like gun ho that they were going to beat Ohio State, and Ohio State had every opportunity to do so. Those are two very good football teams. I think both of those teams would beat Iowa by 50 in the Big Ten championship game. So either way, I lost at the end.
Interesting.
I have so many questions for her about the game. One, did you cry at the game? Did you cry because you were at Jim Harbaugh's funeral?
She cried.
I did cry, but I cried more before than after, like, or during. Like, I cried a lot on my way there. And I was like, I should examine these feelings. I don't know what this is about. Mm-hmm. The funniest part from the game is they would put up, like, get loud signs on the video board like they do everyone. And there was one that was like, Coach Harbaugh can't hear you. And I was like, yeah, man, he's not here. That's why he can't hear you.
When you say cried on the way to the game, on the airplane, in the car,
yeah.
Like, what happened?
Good follow-up.
I got a little emotional in the airplane, not in the car.
In the airplane?
Right.
When you're flying to the city,
so
people
you're
are
not
going to think you're insane.
Right,
You're just crying on an airplane?
It was like a 9 a.m. flight from Charlotte to Detroit, and I was like, I'm starting to feel things. Everything's going.
You really should examine these emotions.
I cried a little bit. I didn't cry on the drive there because the traffic was really bad, so I was frustrated.
Right, okay.
And then I cried a little at the tailgates.
Okay. Crying in the airplane.
What's it like to be on a field that's rushed by 110,000 people? That seems overwhelming.
I didn't enjoy that part.
No.
I did not enjoy that part.
Scary.
We have been on three out of the last 4 games we've been to, they've stormed the field. Oklahoma State, Clemson, they do that every game, and then Michigan. This was probably my least favorite. This was definitely my least favorite. They were an aggressive bunch. They were intense.
It feels like it would take like 2 hours to get off of that field after the game with that many people.
They kept doing announcements of like they had like the PA guy come up and be like, hey, go party somewhere else. Party's going to continue. Make it be at your apartment. Get out of here. Leave. It was probably about 45 minutes of just those announcements. Very passive aggressive. And the fans like eventually left, but it was an awesome environment, but we were in front of the student section at the time and I had to grab Rose, the photographer, and be like, we need to move. We have to get away from the students.
Lucy or Goosey is coming up next segment. I'll get to Billy's point that he made, a good point that he made last week, and I want to get Lucy's thoughts on it.
Wait, can I ask her one more question about the game?
Of course you can.
Is Ryan Day fired? Is he donezo?
I don't think he's done so, but he probably should be. Jess and I, we got a lot of heat for this a few months ago. We have said that if he could not beat Michigan, which we don't think he could, he should have been on the hot seat. There were rumors this weekend, so many coaching rumors this weekend. It was awesome about him going to A&M. That job's now been filled, so that there's not a spot that he can just like back up and go to. Ohio State fans are furious. Their former players are furious. Like they could go 10-2 every year, but beat Michigan and everyone would be fine. But you're not beating Michigan. So he's absolutely on the hot seat, but I don't think he's going to get fired this year because there doesn't seem to be a better opportunity available. But if he does not beat Michigan this upcoming season, yeah, he's done. He's gone.
Sounds like it's good night for Ryan Day.
Does it really?
Louise.
Good day or good night? Put it on the poll, Juju. Good day or good night?
It was a day game.
I know.
It was a bad day for
I know.
Ryan Day.
So good day or good night? Like, you know, is it getting canned?
Jeez, Louise.
Lucy, I found myself, it's odd because they lost the game, but that's the most impressed I've been with Ohio State the entire season.
No, same. I thought they looked really great. That was a hostile environment. Like, it made me doubt Michigan a little bit because I don't think Ohio State's offense hasn't been wildly impressive this season, but they were able to move the ball. This game always comes down to, I believe it's been like the last 22 the game straight. The team that rushes for more yards has won, and Michigan rushed for more yards. Although it felt like, man, the first half I was like, this feels very Iowa-esque to me. I was here for some points. I was like, we need to get things moving.
Right.
Speaking of Iowa,
yeah,
lowest over under ever, right? And they still didn't make it.
They still went under.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Amazing. Big Ten championship game.
They were scoring a lot of points in the first half, and I was nervous.
Right.
But leave Iowa. They'll always do it.
To Billy's point last week, it's a point I've also been making for a couple of weeks, is I feel like we saw the last version of the game. I know they're going to play it every year, but the game will no longer be the game. I'm telling Lucy, we expanded to a 12-team playoff, right? It's too many teams.
That game will still matter, though. To Ohio State and Michigan, that will always matter.
No, next year, it doesn't matter because both teams are in next year.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Both teams were in last year. Both teams made the playoff last season.
I know, but Lucy, you have that weekend, last Saturday and Friday, for that matter, Friday night, was so good, was so great. Why? Because you had a bunch of must-win games, and this weekend, you have the same thing.
It takes a lot out of it.
Michigan, Ohio State is always a must-win game. It doesn't matter if it's a 10-2 team against a 7-5 team. Like, it is always a must-win game. Like, you go, and Michigan fans would have been fine losing 5 games that season if it meant beating Ohio State and vice versa. Like, that's a type of rivalry and hatred that runs so deep, there's no way that dies. There's no shot.
With the way Lucy's describing it, Ryan Day can lose that game next year, still make it into the playoffs, and get fired.
Absolutely.
Right. I was supporting your point.
I know. I'm all over the place, man. Cold shower, I'm telling you.
Get some coffee, man.
That's not going to help this. That's not going to make this better.
Lucy or Goosey next. All right, we'll get to Lucy or Goosey in just a second. Everyone's all fired up, man. People are just, I mean, they're lobbing grenades here during the break.
We did a whole other segment in the break that's just not going to air anywhere.
What were you guys saying?
Fuentes just cut off Lucy. He's like, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We got to get rolling. It's late in the afternoon. You know,
he runs a tight ship. I mean, he's got to get this thing on TV.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what he's got. Is it really?
I woke up late, so I'm feeling energized.
What were you guys saying about the helmet stickers for Ohio State and Michigan?
Of all the things, that was Fuentes' hot take that no one bid on, and that's why he's like, we need to get back to the show.
Okay.
No, we need to get back to the show because we're running late.
Yeah, but if we went down the path of that they need to clean up the helmets, I feel like you would have been fine.
It looks ridiculous.
All right.
Stuff all over the helmet. Just give me a silver helmet.
Do you have your big board bets coming up next?
Why did the Lions have just silver helmets on Thanksgiving with
don't know.
decals? That was weird.
The Falcons. Did the Falcons have red helmets yesterday? Those need to stay.
Yes.
Yeah, those were great.
But
those
the
were
Texans
so cool.
helmets, get the hell out.
Red helmet Texans out.
Texans need to go.
But CJ Stroud, you could stay.
He can stay. CJ Stroud can stay.
Holy bleep, is that guy good?
He ruined our game
Lucy,
of Richardson, Stroud, and Young. He just ruined it.
He won the game.
Yeah, he ruined it. It made it not fun. We stopped doing it after like 4 weeks. Well, Richardson ruined it because
Richardson will never be Stroud. I'm sorry.
Well, he also didn't listen to Trevor Lawrence, and he kept running headfirst into things, which wasn't great.
All right, we're wasting Lucy's time. Lucy, where do you want to go this week? What game are you in? I'm assuming Alabama-Georgia, right? SEC championship game?
We already got approved.
Yes.
Text anybody.
Wow.
There we go.
I don't have to text anyone. I was about to text David Pollock, so I'm glad.
Didn't you text him the last time, though?
He's never texted anyone.
Billy, did anyone send us anything this week?
No one sent us anything. Actually, I didn't check the mailroom, so maybe someone did send us stuff. But by the way, send us stuff if you would like.
Thanks.
Yeah, and we will open it on the show.
Do you have your big board bets coming up next?
I do have that coming up. I have a question for Lucy. You're going to the SEC championship game, but you were getting a lot of crap from fans because you're not going to the Big Ten championship game?
Yes, Iowa fans are super upset with me for not going to that game.
Right.
I tried to remind them. Right. My job is to go to the best game of the week, and I hate to say it, I don't think Michigan-Iowa is the best game of the week. Michigan's a 22-point favorite. I don't want to see that.
You chose wisely, my friend.
Thank you.
You did. All right, let's get to Lucy or Goosey because we got a lot to get to. Do you have like Lucy and Goosey things here, or look at you! Wow.
Always prepped.
All right, so here we go. Florida State beating Louisville in the ACC championship game. Lucy or Goosey?
I'm going to go Goosey. I know that Florida State is a rivalry game. It's always going to be weird. Jordan Travis is the soul of that team, and their backup, I am really concerned about him. Late in the fourth quarter, he had this insane hit. He probably should not have gone back into the game.
It was dirty. Yeah.
They had to go third string for a minute. If you reach that situation against Louisville, you're not going to be okay. Florida is a team that always will screw themselves over, and they did that again this week, but they could have easily and probably should have won that game. I think Louisville's a good team. I know they lost to Kentucky this week. The whole vibes about the ACC championship are very weird. They're very weird. I think Louisville can win. I hope they do, honestly. I don't want to see a Jordan Travis-less Florida State in the playoff.
We're waiting to see the CFP rankings tomorrow. Is there a possibility that they go undefeated and are still left out?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's interesting because Mike Golick, Lucy, said absolutely not. He said there's no way. There's no way they'll do that to Florida State.
I think it can happen where if you're given the circumstances of they've said before they take into account injuries and missing star players, and if you watch that Florida State game, they did not look convincing. They did not look like a team that should be one of the 4 best teams in the country. I can't imagine where a year where we have so many good teams, where you have an Alabama who's not in, a Texas that isn't in, Oregon, Washington, you're going to have to abide by the results of that. It's going to be hard to put Florida State in, especially when look at their resume. Who have they beaten? LSU, not as good as we thought. Duke, not as good as we thought. Clemson, not as good as we thought. That's the end of the list.
I know. I just think it's a bad precedent for a Power 5 undefeated team to not get into the playoffs.
Well, and it also depends on how
going to change next year.
You're right.
It depends on how the other games play out,
because everyone's getting in. Yeah.
Because if Alabama doesn't beat Georgia, they're not in. Obviously,
yeah. Ohio
State is not playing. I mean, Texas, who jumps them? Oregon, if they lose to Washington somehow, it would depend on who wins and who loses. FSU, not so much.
It definitely depends on who wins, who loses. I don't think Ohio State's actually going to drop that much based off the loss to Michigan, because I think they looked really good in the loss. Michigan feels like a lock. Georgia, Alabama is interesting because Alabama could very easily beat Georgia, and if we get into that world, we could have an SEC list champion or Final Four, which would be crazy playoff.
Yes.
How crazy would that be, right?
Yes.
I still think a one-loss Georgia will get in over Florida State. It's just they take into account injuries. They've said that before, and if you watch that Florida game, they did not look good. It's just going to continue. So
right.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of hope for Louisville to win. It would be really bummy if you see a Power 5 school that's undefeated not make it. But also, given the circumstances, without Jordan Travis, can we confidently say that Florida State is one of the best 4 teams in the country? It's not that they try not to do the most 4 deserving teams, but the 4 best teams.
Mikey A's been peppering me the entire weekend about the SEC not having a team in the playoff. I told him it's impossible.
There a path?
No.
Yeah, I just said, is there a path where the SEC does not get a team in? And he goes, no, absolutely not. Ask Lucy. And Lucy, I didn't even have to ask you when you brought it. Thank you.
You're both wrong.
No, there's a path.
Right.
I think it's a long stretch. But if Alabama beats Georgia by 50, then yeah, potentially.
Okay.
If Alabama wins by 50, you don't see the voters putting them back in.
They beat the number 1 team in the country who's won 30 straight regular season games by 50 points, Lucy.
It's a bunch of old humans.
If they beat them by 20.
But it's a bunch of old humans, Lucy, that don't want to change. They're going to have an SEC team in there.
Look, if Condoleezza Rice was still on the playoff selection committee, let me tell you.
Condi.
All right, Alabama beating Georgia. Lucy or Goosey?
I'm going to go Goosey. I do think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I still think Georgia is light years better than everybody else. After watching Michigan, Ohio State, I think Georgia could pretty easily beat Michigan. Alabama, Auburn's a weird game. The Iron Bowl is weird, and the vibes are always off in Auburn. I just think Georgia's a lot better. I think that Alabama's offensive line is vastly improved, but I still think Georgia has a good enough defense to challenge them. I know that Georgia gave up a touchdown to Georgia Tech to start the game. I can tell you pretty much how this game is going to map out. Alabama's going to come out and they're going to score fast and they're going to score quick, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God. And then Georgia's going to do Georgia things.
Right, because they like to spot you 7 or 10 points. That's what they do.
It's a nice little head start. I really respect it.
Right, but this is Alabama. Be careful, okay? You can do that with other teams. Missouri, you can't do that here, okay?
I still think that talent-wise, just experience-wise, skill-wise, Georgia is a lot better. But I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see Alabama win. Just screw everything up. Why not?
All right. Washington, Georgia, Florida State all win. The 4th playoff team should be Texas. Lucy or Goosey?
Okay, so Washington wins.
Georgia wins. Florida State wins. Yes.
Where's Michigan?
Oh, Michigan's not in there.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, you got to put Michigan in there.
I'd rather not have a Big Ten school than an SEC school.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. Ew.
Right.
Also,
did you just forget about Michigan?
I did.
The vibes around Michigan are is this even going to count?
How'd you forget?
I don't know. Well, Michigan could still lose to Iowa. That's what I had. Okay. That's what I left out. Yeah, Michigan loses to Iowa.
Right.
Let's be realistic here.
Okay.
This 3-game punishment for Jim Harbaugh was just so that they would lose to Ohio State, and it didn't work, right?
Didn't work. No. Mm-hmm. How embarrassing. That makes it even worse for Ryan Day. You're like, they didn't even have their guy, and you lost.
They did this just so that you hired people. Your family hired people to expose him. We're going to get rid of him so you can beat him and keep your job, and you can't beat him.
He was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Pass.
Do we have a scenario where neither of the Pac-12 teams get it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The thing with Oregon is I do think Oregon's really good. I think they passed the eye test. Outside of beating Washington, if they do that, that's one ranked win against Oregon State. They don't have any others. It would feel very fitting for the Pac-12 to get left out. I hope that doesn't happen, but absolutely, that's a possibility for sure.
All right,
I can see if Alabama beats Georgia in a close game, you're like, well, maybe we should put Alabama and Georgia in there and just kick Washington or Oregon out.
All right, we have less than 30 seconds here. The game will never feel like the game again. Lucy or Goosey?
Dude, that's the most Goosey thing you've ever said.
I'm trying to
ask her that already.
I know, but she needs to come around to my side and Fuentes' side. The game is over, Lucy. It's over. It's over.
It will It will mean something forever and ever and ever.
No.
If you live in Ohio or Ann Arbor.
Right. The Fringe fan, me, Billy, Mikey, we're not watching that game anymore. It's done. It's over.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're missing out because that game ruled. That was an awesome game.
It was.
And it wasn't an awesome game because both teams were fighting for the playoff. It was because they wanted to beat each other.
Right.
No one thought about the playoff there.
It was an awesome game because of the stakes, and the stakes have been removed. That's
no,
it.
The stakes are always.
The Iron Bowl was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and there were stakes weren't that high.
As a play.
Yeah, but next year, Mikey, if Alabama loses that game, they're still in. I mean, it doesn't even matter. That's it. Alabama can lose 5 times a year now, and they're getting in. Who cares?
Now,
pencil them in when the season starts.
There's a little truth to that one. There's a little truth to that one.
Lucy, enjoy the SEC championship game. Be careful. Have a great time. And you're not missing a thing by not going to Iowa, okay?
I know I'm not.
I think what just happened here is Lucy, who was great, and I had more questions for her. I think her time was cut short because Mike Fuentes wanted to make time for himself.
I'm being wrongly accused. This is horse. I'm
no. What do you mean?
No.
Really?
No, because what ends up happening is, look, I love college football, but Goblins football is known for NFL, so I want more NFL on the show.
Football.
It's football.
Yeah, but we're here for the NFL
bless
stuff.
the NFL.
You know, and next year it doesn't matter because next year everybody gets in, it doesn't matter. So
next year
we're getting ahead of the game.
Football just doesn't matter.
This is the last time we have to talk about these things.
Dude, I'm trying to get you on my side by agreeing with you with the playoff.
Well, I did that with Billy before. You saw what happened.
Well, no, because this is what happened.
There's no loyalty to takes here.
For you, the viewer at home, this is what happened.
Here goes TV guy.
We were told you have 15 minutes for this last segment, and normally our segments are like 12 minutes, and I exclaimed,
You're right.
15 minutes.
You are right.
And then we quickly put to it, he's like, well, because we got to do the big board bets, and we have Stu's top 5, and I have my top 5, and we're like, oh, okay. So this was done, like we just kind of pushed Lucy aside, out of the way, to make sure that you have plenty of time for your top 5.
Next week, I'm going to cut you off in the middle of your big board right when you're doing it, because that's what you understand.
In the last 3 weeks, it's like you have 27 seconds to do 3 picks.
Yes.
I'm actually giving more time to Billy's big board brought to you by.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
That's okay. I see I'm not appreciated.
That was so nice. Here's the thing, though. I went the last couple weeks. I was feeling really good about myself, 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
And then I had a 1 and 2, and I was like, you know what? Don't worry about that 1 and 2. That one was not one that we're gonna have to stick with. And then last week I was 1 and 2 again, and I was like, you know what? Scale it back a little, Billy. Don't reinvent the wheel. Mm-hmm. Just do your BBBBBB.
Back to basics.
Back to basics. Yep. That's exactly right. Billy's Bets Big Boards brought to you by. Back to basics this week. Exactly right. Stugotz gets it. So I have 3 that we're going to get to later, but I'm not going to overwhelm you with stats and information. I'm just, boom, straight from the hip.
Were you mad at the Ravens last night, or the Chargers, I should say?
Was I mad at the Chargers?
Well, because you wanted the Ravens as a Dolphin fan to lose that game. You want the Dolphins to have the 1 seed. You want the Dolphins to have home field advantage. So
I was rooting for the Eagles last night because of that.
And the Chargers had every opportunity, as you pointed out earlier, to win that game. They had a drive. Justin Herbert had a chance to go down the field and do something he never does, which is march his team down, get a touchdown, they walk out with a victory.
The AFC is weird in that the Ravens are the 1 seed, obviously at 9 and 3. The Chiefs are 8 and 3. The Jaguars are 8 and 3. The Dolphins are 8 and 3. The Steelers are 7 and 4, which is weird. The
Ridiculous.
Steelers and the Browns being 7 and 4 and being a game behind the Chiefs and the Dolphins, who are expected to be at the top, is weird, right?
Yes.
So but I think the strangest thing about the AFC is even the Ravens. I don't who's the dominant team. The Chiefs, we would all say, right? But the Chiefs
I would say
don't
the Dolphins
look like
at
the
home.
Chiefs.
I would say the Dolphins at home
but
are
the
a dominant
Dolphins
team.
may not get home field. I mean, they
might
will.
not.
They will for like a round or two in the playoffs, but not all the way through.
Right.
And you also, like, to the point that everyone's made on the Dolphins all years, they still haven't done it against a winning team. I mean, now you have teams that have winning records that they beat, like the Broncos. The Chargers lost.
Well, they put 70 up on the Broncos. The Broncos have a winning record now. I mean, how about that? They beat a winning team.
Watch out for the Broncos.
Hey guys. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I'm worried about our friend Austin Eckler. He's so hard on himself, and you see he had another fumble yesterday.
I know.
He's probably kicking himself right now. I feel bad.
Did we break him?
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we break? No.
I think his coach broke.
It's going to take more than us three to break.
We've broken a lot of coaches and players along the way.
But I don't think we broke Austin Eckler. I think the violent nature of the game broke Austin Eckler. I mean,
yeah,
he led the NFL
Austin would tell you Austin
year.
broke Austin.
Right,
I am definitely here though for the Austin Eckler heel turn. You know what I mean? Like Austin Eckler's positivity to reach a breaking point, and he just becomes like bad Hulk Hogan, where he just has like a really dark
out everyone.
beard. Yeah. And you know what?
Does he take out Herbert?
Let me write this down. I'm going to pitch to him this weekend that I think he should do the NWO Hulk Hogan beard, where he does like the blonde Fu Manchu with like the really dark beard.
Right.
I think this is the move for him.
Because he has stood by his coach's side. He has stood by Justin Herbert's
just
side.
Been the good guy the whole time.
He's the captain of the team. Yes.
I feel like it's time to be the bad guy.
Okay.
Like even on the player intros, like at the beginning of the game, and he goes, Austin Eckler, F you. Like,
exactly right. Now it's like Austin Eckler, God bless you. Have a great day. I hope your family's doing well.
How about Austin Eckler? My quarterback sucks.
How about this, Austin Eckler?
Austin Eckler, no more Staley.
It's just Austin Eckler, and the next thing you see is just a foot come out of nowhere, and then the shot just is the camera falling backwards. Like his face is just disappearing because he kicked over the camera.
How about it's Austin Eckler? Keenan Allen, enough with 19 catches for 87 yards. I mean, how about that?
Yeah, stop being so good, Keenan Allen.
Mike Williams, stop getting hurt. Coach, stop going for it.
I don't think you're playing the same game as us.
Belichick.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. Different games.
Yeah, it's fine. Games are fun.
Long weekend,
different
late in the
games
afternoon.
for different folks.
Yep. Fuentes' top 5 or my top 5? What do you want to do first here,
Billy? What is Fuentes' top 5?
We don't know.
Mine is
things.
Top 5. Well, top 5 apologies. Okay. Who owes them?
Let's do that one because he does need a lot of time. He kicked Lucy out, so he had plenty of time. So let's give him all the time
I hate this
that
narrative.
he needs.
I don't like
Let
this.
it breathe. Let it breathe.
Exactly right.
These are people who owe us an apology, or
no, these people owe an apology to somebody.
To somebody. Just to somebody.
No, I haven't written down who they owe it to.
All right.
Wait, hold on. This is locked in?
Oh, it's locked in.
Okay, you can't change it. You promise me you won't change it?
No, it's here.
All right, so these are top 5 people that owe an apology to somebody.
Correct.
Okay, wait. Before he does it, it's locked in. You're not going to change it.
Locked in right here. Look, it's all written out.
Mikey, over under 3 OLIs.
Oof. If you put it at 2.5, I'd take the over.
I'll do 2.5 then.
Push there.
2.5.
Okay, 2.5. I'll take the over.
I'll go under.
I think it's 3 also.
All right.
Stu Cashes is only 1 OLI. But to be fair, before the show started, I deleted 1, so it was almost 2.
So all right. What was
almost
you deleted?
2? No, but it's just locked in now. You said it's locked in now. I said yes. Okay.
I just want to make sure you have enough time.
Number 6, Stu and Tony.
What?
You guys owe us an apology for pushing this Jared Goff narrative that he's any good. The guy stinks. They're winning in spite of him, not because of him.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, they have a good record.
Wow.
Yeah, but not because of him.
Yards and a couple of
not because of him.
Okay, sorry.
Tony picked the worst time to get off the Jaguars bandwagon.
Yeah,
the worst time.
Maybe that's why they're blowing up.
They've won 7 of 8.
The worst time.
And just can't win it
He'll
all.
argue that he didn't, though.
He'll argue that he didn't, but the worst time.
Number 5.
Yes.
Derek Carr. He owes us all an apology for his whole career. Had us all thinking he was a good quarterback. The guy stinks.
Okay.
Right? He's done. More like Derek Bicycle. All right.
Oh, my Lord.
Number 4.
Bicycle?
This
Yeah,
is why
Derek
we
got
rid of
talk
Lucy.
about certain things
Yeah.
to Lucy.
For this, yeah. By the way, Doug Peterson did everything he could to lose that game yesterday. Everything he could. And they still won. That's a good team. When your coach is coaching against you and you still win, that is the sign of a good team. Okay. Where are we? Number 3?
Number 4.
Oh, number 4. Sorry.
The world. The world, they owe the Broncos an apology. We all wrote them off after they got 70 dropped on them by the Dolphins.
And now one so far.
They were 1-5, and then they won 5 in a row.
Should have been number 1.
All right, so everyone should apologize to the Broncos?
Yeah, everybody, the whole world.
Sorry,
3
Denver.
better than that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Number 3.
Yeah.
Mike Fuentes.
Why?
I owe Vic Fangio an apology. Really
Fangs. Yeah. Well, he calls him Frangio.
I mean,
shut down Tim Boyle.
Hey, but they've been good. They did what they had to do.
Is it Is it Fangs or is it Jalen Ramsey's back? And now things look very different.
Very good.
I'm with him though. Dolphins defense has looked a lot.
They've been really a lot better since the first couple.
Big injury to Phillips. He's a good player. He's out for the season with a torn Achilles.
That stadium needs to be demolished.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Burn MetLife to the ground.
I
I'm with
know
Billy.
and I'm hitting microphones here. I know that's probably extreme. There are so many injuries at MetLife. So many injuries.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm not disputing it. You're right.
At some point,
there's been a problem with that turf for years. Yes.
Why has nothing been done about this?
I don't know.
And it's not just Dolphin specific. Like it's not just because
Aaron
there's a
Rodgers
Dolphin.
tore his Achilles.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm not acting like this because it happened to the Dolphins. But like, there's just so many injuries there.
Agreed.
Yeah, Danny B said they should call the sod father. He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He probably. I would say that the sod father is probably happy that that's happening because they went with artificial turf.
You're right.
And he's like, you know what?
He's
That's
a grass
why you go
guy.
natural.
Yeah, natural.
He's a
grass.
natural man. Yeah.
He is. Yes. Has he pooped in his hands?
Sodfather?
Yes.
Dude, he plays with poop. Yes.
Yeah, his whole job is poop. His whole job is poop.
Handling poop.
Yeah. He literally knows what his poop will do for certain.
He has tasted poop.
Okay.
Oh, he for sure has tasted poop.
Apologies to the Sodfathers.
There you go.
Just a little
The
thing where,
NFL.
like, the tip of your tongue just.
Exactly.
He's done that
peck of dirt, Greg Codyism.
Where are you?
Number 2, the New York Jets.
Okay,
the New York Jets, they owe their fans an apology for signing all of Aaron Rodgers' friends, and they all stink. And also, how is Tim Boyle in the NFL?
I don't know.
His college stats were a huge thing on Twitter.
I'll tell you how. He's Aaron's friend.
He has to be.
He is. He was a backup.
Okay.
In Green Bay, he was his backup.
He played 3 years in Connecticut. Guess how many touchdown passes he had?
How many?
One.
Right.
Yeah, he had 1 touchdown and 13 interceptions.
Amazing.
How is he in the NFL?
I don't understand
because he's Aaron's friend.
But how does that get you in?
It does.
It's so easy. Aaron goes to the Jets and goes, listen, you got your backup. I'm your starter. Do me a favor. Give my boy Tim Boyle a job. Let him be third string.
Yes.
He'll never play.
But how are they friends? Because
forgot the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers.
Is Aaron Rodgers the LeBron of constructing teams?
Yeah, terrible at it.
Yeah, he's bad at it.
Yeah. But so Aaron Rodgers, I think rookie year was what, 06?
Yeah.
Tim Boyle came into the league in 2015.
All right, they're friends.
But how did he get in the league?
I don't know.
He's known him. He must have known him before.
He wasn't a threat to Aaron. That's how he got in the league, and then he became friends with Aaron. It's Randall Cobb. You think Randall Cobb's still good? Really?
No, but but Randall Cobb has a resume like I've done stuff. Tim Boyle's never done anything.
I know, but he also has a job, and he hasn't done anything in 3 years. Randall Cobb.
Insane. Alan Lazard, by the way, $10 million. Healthy scratch. I love it. Love a good healthy scratch.
I don't care. I mean, the guy can't catch anyway.
Is it crazy to wonder how good the Jets would be with Aaron Rodgers?
Because they'd be great. They'd be great. They'd be great.
They'd be great.
This isn't a good team.
They'd be great.
They have a great defense, but their offense, they have no line.
You're right. They'd be great, though.
I don't know.
Well, they've also had like 4 major injuries on the line.
I don't know if they'd be great, but I'd give them like at least 2 extra wins.
Okay.
2 extra wins.
Which in the AFC has
that's a lot.
You might be a 3 seed.
Exactly.
Against the Dolphins.
All right, number 1.
Number 1, Josh Allen. He owes Bill fans. He owns the Bills for not being able to win in overtime. He owes NFL an apology because they changed the rules for him and he still can't win in overtime.
All right. All right. He played great yesterday.
There was that horse collar that he got away with.
Okay, is a horse collar anywhere? Like, because he had him by the jersey in the front, and then he had him on the nameplate in the back. He didn't have it inside. He didn't have it inside. He didn't have it inside.
Got under the pad.
He didn't have it inside.
I would say 95% of the NFL teams would trade their quarterback, if not more, right now for Josh Allen, right?
Yeah,
including the Dolphins.
I'm not saying he's bad. He just owes his fans an apology.
All right. Big board bets or my top 5?
Let's do your top 5.
All right. I have top 5 Coach of the Year candidates right now.
Wow.
As of today.
This is very exciting.
You ready? Number 5, Arthur Smith. And the Falcons are a playoff team. They're going to win that division.
They're hosting the Cowboys.
He's doing it with Desmond Ridder. I mean, think about that, okay?
I have a bone to pick with Johnny Smith, but I'm not doing that here today.
Okay. Number 4, the Colts coach. Somebody name him. I dare you.
Not Frank Reich.
No.
I was trying to figure out
something.
I was trying to figure out this weekend if the Colts are the Buccaneers or if Gardner Minshew is Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they're both very similar.
You're
they
right.
have different records, but they're very I will watch a Gardner Minshew Baker Mayfield game just because something's going to happen. It's not going to be a boring game.
No.
It may not be a good game, but it's not going to be a boring game.
You're right. You want that as a Super Bowl matchup?
I would watch that Super Bowl. I mean, I'd watch any Super Bowl, obviously.
Right. So, number 3, Kevin O'Connell, Vikings head coach. Number 2, got to throw him in there, Dan Campbell. And number 1, Billy's boy. Watch out for the Broncos. Sean Payton.
No Mike McDaniel, huh?
No.
Some people are saying watch out for the Broncos. It's not just me. Some people.
I mean, they're good.
No Texans either.
No Texans, no.
That is, yeah.
You had him penciled in as the winner last week.
You forgot about that.
I know. Yeah. They should have won that game. I just told you that Peterson did everything he could to lose that game. And I got to tell you, I watched C.J. Stroud for an entire game, which is something I rarely do anymore. But the 1 o'clock slate was so bad yesterday. My God, is he good? I know they lost.
He's good.
But, oh, my God, that guy, Billy, he never gets nervous.
Yeah.
He reads the blitz well. He moves well. He just makes plays, and he's got a cannon for an arm all the time. All right, Big Board Bets brought to you by somebody.
All right, yeah, exactly. Billy's Bets Big Boards brought to you by. Still waiting for a sponsor. These are things that I'm not super confident about, but maybe I would be.
Okay.
Anyways, Justin Fields, over 255.5 passing and rushing yards combined.
I like that a lot. I'll tell you why I like that, Billy, because last week he came back from an injury. He hasn't really rushed this year like he did last year. Last week he went for over 100 yards. So I like that. Plus, I think they'll be trailing. So, all right, he is writing down his second big board bet right now. He was 1-2 last week.
Josh Dobbs, over 236.5 passing yards.
All right, Dobbs, 236.5. Right. What, you like that, Mike?
It's a list. It's a good number. It's a big number.
It is a big number. It's also a bad game. I mean,
I know, but a bad game. We've been due for like a shootout. You know what I mean? There's been some lots of like low offense, low scoring games. Anyways, last one, Vikings -3.5 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said 3.5. It says -3.
-3. Yeah, okay. That's what I meant. -3.
By the hook. All right. God bless football, everyone.